3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so this sculpt is going to be an octopus. I just want to freestyle it. So we'll see what happens. So first I'm just going to make a little platform, kind of like I always do. So we'll just make a little platform to start. And this will be the head. And usually the sphere will be like much bigger than this. So just delete it. Just delete the sphere and add a new one. So it should be 6,146. You can just validate it. I want to change this to metcap because it's just easier to work with that way. All right, so let's take move, let's take symmetry, and let's just kind of move this up and out. It's kind of be like where his eyes are. Maybe we'll stretch this out a little bit. Okay. And what's the name of this head one? And we'll take another sphere and we can turn it a little bit and we'll move it up and back. They kind of have like big heads in the back. So we'll just stretch it out some. I think something like that works. All right, so we'll hit front, we'll validate that. Let's just call this head back. All right, we can validate the box too. I have some really cool stuff I'm going to be modeling after this. Can't wait. Some cool characters. All right, so let's think. Oh, they have like two little things here. So let's take a cylinder. Let's take a cylinder. Let's make it kind of small. Maybe around that size. And well, we don't need to validate it yet. Let's add a, what is it called? Torus. Let's add a torus. We'll move it down. We'll shrink it. Needs to be a little fatter though. So we'll tap where it says gizmo and make it a little fatter. Shrink it some more. I just kind of want something like this. Maybe we'll stretch it out a little bit. We just want something like that. So these two I'm actually going to join. And then I'm going to add a mirror. And this is, I don't know what that's called. I'm just going to call it snoots, even though it's not, but it's close enough. And now that they're in the mirror, we can move them. They'll act like a mirror. So we'll just do something like this. I don't think we need to. Oh, and you might not have a line on. You probably don't have a line on. And if you don't, it'll just, whatever you move it to, it'll stay that way. A line just makes it stay like if I wanted to move straight back, I would just hit a line and then I can move it straight back or straight up and down. Very useful because the gizmo can get very confusing. So let's just move it back a little bit. Make it a little bit smaller. So maybe something like that. Stretch it out a little bit. Something like that. Move this down a little bit. So let's make some tentacles. I'm not sure how I want to make the little suction things, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. I want to concentrate on the design and the beauty and the curves. So let's use tube. Oh, and this could be kind of tricky. I'll turn it a little bit that way. We're going to use path. We don't need snap, But we just kind of have to make a nice pretty curve as much as we can. So maybe something like this. I'll just add another one. So maybe something like that. And we'll just have to adjust it. So firstly, let's bring these points so that it's like sort of coming out of here. So we'll just kind of move these points like that. It'll look better. Move this back. Let's move this forward. Just bring this up so like it's maybe resting on the floor kind of thing. Let's move this up. And notice I just like kind of turn it so I can like move them in the right direction. It can be a little annoying. So I kind of want it to be like up and then maybe like a cool little loop over here. So I'm going to move these out, move that down. I'll add another one. Do I kind of want that? I have to think about kind of how I want it to be. So let's hit spline. That'll make it nice and curvy. And any parts that are close to the ground, I want them to be sort of touching the ground. Okay, so maybe we'll start with this. Maybe we'll change it a little bit later. Let's tap radius, and that way we can make this side really big or bigger. And this, let's close that up a little bit. Let's hit radius again. And then maybe let's stretch out this so it kind of looks like sort of like, I don't know. And I think we can flatten this out later on. So I think that looks decent. Maybe we can make this a little thicker. Oh, actually I have to do the next two because I forgot I hit radius twice. So let's move this so it's nice and smooth coming down from there. You can mirror it, so then you have two. Bootyful. So that looks pretty good. Okay, so this mirror, I'm just going to name it Tentacles so we don't forget. I think I'm spelling this right. Yeah, Tentacles. So this is the front. Let's clone it. I'll name this one F2. Let's name this one F1. It's a little bit easier. So F1, let's take gizmo and move it back. Notice how the gizmo is all weird. If I want to move it straight back, we hit align. Now we can move that straight back. And we can tap tube. And now we can adjust just the second one. So we can sort of figure out how we want the second one to be. It can be kind of tricky with all these nodes. That's for sure. Why don't you come in here? Cat is trying to be a rascal. So, I don't know. I just have to move them so it's pretty. Okay, I kind of got rid of one. And maybe we'll raise this up a little bit. Maybe something like that. And for the ends, I think I want to bring them forward. And I definitely want to bring them in closer to each other so that they're not really touching these. Although these, we can sort of adjust. I don't want them touching. So I might adjust these so that they're a little higher. So maybe something like that. I think that's cool. Okay, so, and another thing is obviously we need 4. So I might have to extend this a little bit, which isn't very difficult. I'll just go to here, do move. Symmetry is still on, so I'll just sort of stretch the head a little bit. Like that. And just use the move tool so it kind of, I want to make sure I have symmetry on for this, this back sphere. And I just want to make this so it looks like, it looks like a head. Like the octopus's head. Okay, I think that's decent. So now we can always make a new tube, or we can do the same thing that we did. We can clone this one, and we can name it F3. So we have 2, 4, 6. So these three would be, or these two would be 6 tentacles. Tap tube, and then of course you can adjust this tube. Let's bring this forward more. And I think it might be cool if it's like interacting with whatever it's like laying on. Oop. Be careful to touch the white parts. Oop, not the orange parts, like I keep doing. Like maybe if this is like falling off, it's kind of interesting. Something like this. I'm going to squeeze this one in a little bit more. And maybe even this one too, just squeeze it up a little bit. So the last one has plenty of room. Okay, nice. I think that looks pretty good. So now let's add, or let's clone, since this is working out. So we'll clone, whoops. This one will be F4. Now we can slide this one back, and this will be the last one. We'll hit tube. We'll move it in like all the other ones. And then we just have to sort of adjust how we want this. I feel like, you know what, I really want to curve. Oop. Yeah, I kind of like this. I kind of want this like pointing forward a little bit, maybe. I just have to kind of adjust these a little bit so that they're sort of resembles the other ones. And this can actually be maybe a slightly different dynamic where this comes down a little bit more. Maybe we'll move this one up a little bit. I don't mind if they're kind of in contact with each other. I think that actually helps. Okay, and the only thing I'm seeing is some of them look a little bit smaller than others. So I just want to make sure that the sizes are fairly even. They don't have to be exact, but This one's a little small. Oh. Make that a little bit big. Maybe we'll make this one a little bit bigger. Maybe we'll make that a little bit bigger. Yeah, that looks okay. Maybe we'll make the ends look a little bit bigger too. I think that looks kind of cool. Now I'm going to use move, and I'm just going to bring the eyes out a little bit. Now I don't actually know how I want the eyes. I think I'm just going to use layer. So now we're on the head. Let's see how this looks if we do sub. And I think we need to make this a little bit more dense. I do want to practice like coloring before I do some. That's the only thing that I would be different than I normally do, is coloring these things before I actually start making them more dense. So I don't know if I want to practice that yet, but maybe it's a good time to do that. And yeah, well, you know what? We'll work through it together. Let's take these, and I probably should have did these with the tubes as well, because I want to make sure that these are. Let's take the snoots and validate join children. This way, oh no, they're still separate. So I'm going to voxel remesh them, but really low, maybe like 100. Only because I like how the tubes have different, I want this to be a little bit more, well, hopefully this makes sense. I'm better at showing what I'm talking about than talking about it sometimes. There you go. I just wanted a little bit of oh man, symmetry. Oh no, is it symmetrical? Let's look. No, it's good. Thought I forgot the symmetry, but I didn't. I think it looks pretty cool so far. So I might try to color it first. I don't normally do that. So let's turn it to lit PBR. And as you know, I hate when floor 2 when it's glossy, so I'm going to make it white with roughness 0.6 something, so it's nice and soft. I just like that better. And let's turn the environment off and then turn a light on. And we don't need all the lights now, but let's just do a few lights. So this first light, probably should change it to a spotlight, shouldn't I? Let's change it to a spotlight and move it in the general direction of the default light. So I want to put it sort of up, but maybe here. We'll angle it towards our little octopus. We'll widen the spread, and let's turn it up a little bit. So maybe something like this. Okay, so let's call this key. Let's clone this, and let's call this fill. So we'll just move it on this side and turn it. So we'll move it somewhat over here. We'll turn it down some. Nice. So let's clone this one. Let's name this edge. And this will go behind him. I'll turn on my light icon so you can see. Here's the key. Here's the fill. This is the edge. It's going behind. Oh, that's softness. I didn't mean to really hit that, but that's okay. So now it's behind. And while we're here, we can tap this and we can go to perspective. And let me save this since I haven't saved it. Save as Octo. All right, so now let's turn the edge up a little bit so we can see it. Yeah, that actually looks pretty good. I can see it on most of the tentacles. Yeah, that looks good. Let's make it a little warm. And now let's do one top down. I wasn't going to do all the lights, but here we are. So we'll clone it. This one will be top down. We'll change it to a bluish, because I always do. Up. Forward. We want to use these arrows to put it right over his head or her head. We'll use the rings to point it straight down. Nice and dramatic. We'll raise it up. And maybe we'll close the cone angle a little bit. Whoop. Okay, I think that's nice and dramatic. So let's turn the environment on. Let's scroll down and turn this lower. Of course, I'm using my environment. If you'd like this environment, you can pick it up on my Gumroad. The link is in the description. It's just my eye something environment. I'll probably put it on the screen if I remember. So let's turn that down a little bit, maybe to around here. And let's just preview it with post-process. Nice. Decent. So now let's give it a general color, maybe like a pinkish sort of flesh kind of tone, maybe magenta. Doesn't have to be perfect, but let's oh, you know what? I should probably merge these two. So let's take these and let's voxel remesh them together, but low, like 100. So now we can take smooth and just lightly smooth them. Make sure symmetry's on. And they should smooth nice and easy because we did a voxel remesh really low. So that's going to help us a lot. Okay, I think that looks good. One thing I noticed when I look on the side, it kind of has a bump in the middle, and I want to sort of flatten this out a little bit by bringing this up some. And even spreading this out a little bit here. Because I think that's where I want the eyes to go. So the head is already quite high. But let's color it. Let's figure out a color. I'm going to go to the red. And I think maybe something like this. I don't know what the roughness we need. Because obviously they might be glossy like this, but I don't know. Maybe I should make it glossy. I like things to be sort of like this, but I know that I'm going to do it this color, actually. Okay, so maybe I want to try. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I want to take this color that it's like a little bit lighter. And maybe I want to add some on the back, but I'm going to add. No, you know what? I'll add it to this color. Let's go ahead and add some on the back. So now let's use smooth color, which is just the smooth tool with 0 intensity. You can clone it and then just save it as the smooth tool. Smooth color is what I call it, I think. I just want to see how well it smooths. It's smoothing okay, but it's still a little bit. Let's make sure you can see this nice and clearly. It's smoothing okay, but I think if we decimate it, it should smooth better. 15. So if we decimate it to here, it should smooth better. Oh, I'm on regular smooth. We want smooth color. Okay, that's decent. It's decent. Do I like this color better? No, I think I like the other color better. So let's take this color and just paint the whole thing. I should probably look at an octopus. Okay, so let's figure out what we're gonna do with these tentacles. Firstly, we have to decide if we want them to be different, slightly different. I'm not exactly sure yet. If I validate, just trying to think here. You know what? Maybe I'll just keep them the same. Maybe that's fine. So what I like to do is validate and then actually voxel remesh, but low again. Maybe 100. And then we'll take smooth, make sure that I have symmetry. And just smooth it. But now I have to figure out the bottom. So let's solo it. And I think I want this to be the bottom. So I'm just going to take flatten, make my brush really big. Oh, turn symmetry off. So I just flatten that. Let's see how it looks. Not bad. Let's solo it again. Actually not bad. If I smooth it, it looks all right. I can take drag and just sort of adjust it a little bit. Then we have a nice flat area where maybe I can add some thingies later. So I'm going to do that to all of them. I'm going to validate them. Remesh at 100. Take smooth, make sure symmetry is on. And then just smooth. And make sure that it smooths both. Solo. That way I don't get lost. And now I'm just going to flatten the bottom of this. Oh, actually I don't need symmetry for flatten. I keep forgetting. So I'm making sure to flatten one plane, and I know that this is on the floor, like this is on the, you know, where the bottom is. So I'm just flattening the bottom. And now I'll take smooth symmetry, and it'll just smooth it again a little bit. And even with these edges, you can probably just flatten out along this like edge ridge here. Looks kind of silly. Just flatten it like that. Do a quick save. And I'm going to turn this back white because we didn't really need to do what I was intending to do. We didn't really need to do it, so I'm just going to turn it back white. All right, so where are we at now? So we're here. So let's validate. First thing, a voxel remesh at 100. So voxel remesh, we'll take smooth with symmetry, tap on one of them, and you can actually solo it. You can smooth it, that way you can see what's happening. Gets a little small, but that's okay. And I feel like I want to just kind of alter the shape of this a little bit. So something like that. Let's make sure that it did the same thing with the other side. It did. So I'll solo again, and then I need to make this side flat. And I don't need symmetry because it's in a mirror. So I'll make sure I have this nice flat plane underneath. I think these are more a like squid type, kraken type shape for the tentacles, but I don't care. I just want it to look cool. I'm not really worried about anatomy. I'm just worried about making cool art. And you have to remember that you can do what you want. So let's flatten around this. Nice. Smooth it up a little bit. Solo. It looks good. Might have to. It doesn't necessarily look like it's flowing off as nicely as I want. So let me try to bend it with a move tool. That's better. I just want it to look like it's like falling down. F4 will validate voxel remesh 100. Did I do it? I don't remember. Voxel remesh. Do a quick save. Smooth. We'll solo it. That way we can see what we're doing. Okay, nice. Now where would let's unsolo. Where would the pads be on this? I think they'd be here. So let's solo. I think they would be, whoop, flatten. I think they'd be something like that. Maybe go under. Nice. Press a little bit harder over here. Smooth it out some. Solo. And it looks a little funny. So I'll either take, maybe I'll try move first. just make it a little more smooth. Okay, I think it looks nice. I think it looks nice. Let's give it a quick save. Okay, I'm looking at the front and I feel like this needs to be a little bit more, I need to be a little bit more aggressive with the flattening. A little bit more aggressive. I'll smooth this out. And also maybe a little bit more flattening at the top. Around that edge. I love that. Okay. Cool. If we do inflate, and then sub-inflate, or inflate and then layer sub, that could be interesting. Maybe that's a better way to do it. I think that'd be faster. So let's unsolo and just, should we mush all this stuff together? We could. We really could. So we have the head. I'm just gonna get rid of these. Hopefully I remember to delete these from the tutorial. These were some tentacles that I was making a very difficult way. They actually don't look that bad, but I think it's gonna be too much work to do that for all of these. And I just don't feel like doing all that work. So I think you guys are gone. So we have our tentacles. I'm gonna go ahead and join them. Do I want to join them all? So let's take the head, the tentacles. What is this? Oh, that's those thingies. Let's do that. Let's voxel. Let me save first in case I get a crash. Let's voxel remesh at 300, 350. Okay, it's already remeshed. So I wanted to voxel remesh high. Oh, actually, that's some nice sort of, it's actually a really nice texture that I didn't intend for, but it looks good. So I just want to smooth some of this out. I can add the texture on myself if I so choose. Just want these connections to look good. Okay. I think those are just shadows I'm seeing. And a better way to do it would be go back to Metcap. If I can find it. Oh, I have freaking post-process on, don't I? It's better. Can't believe I had post-process on this whole time. Like a dum-dum. Okay, so now I just want to use some pinch on these. Symmetry should be engaged. Pinch will just give me this nice finished look. that I love. I think I'm going to smooth this, and maybe I'll add my own texture on later. But that texture did look pretty good. Not gonna lie. Okay, so let's get rid of the floor for now. So now we can figure out what we want to do with these tentacles. So I'm thinking if I can inflate I have to remember where the direction that these are going. So that should be the floor. So that actually looks pretty good. So actually I might just be able to do sub inflate. I don't think they just need too much. Ooh, that one's huge. Relax. Let's relax this one a little bit. Go back to inflate with sub. Yeah, the other way is just too clinical. So let's see how it looks with the floor. Oh, I think that looks good. We'll just have to move this up a little bit. That's much, much better. Okay, so good. We have a plan. So we'll just use inflate. Take it off sub. Let's get rid of the floor. And I think I'm just going to protect. I'm going to use select mask with lasso and just protect the front tentacles. So I'll protect those. Maybe I'll protect the other ones back here as well. So we'll do inflate. This should be the floor down there, I think. I mean, it actually doesn't really matter. I mean, I guess I can just... not be lazy. clear this mask. Let's just put in some strong work here. Whoop. Maybe this is a better way to do it in a circle. Okay, let's get up under here. It would be really nice to, I knew I got out of that tool somehow. Circles look perfect. It does take a little bit more precision, but it will save me time. They're a little bit harder when the tentacles get small. Okay, one more. So this is, let's start from here. Gotta go in close. Oh no, I think I might be a little bit off of the I have to stay on the trail. Okay, so let's take inflate and sub. Let's turn the intensity up. And just add these middles. Try to move quick and not really think about this kind of mundane. Okay, it's looking good. Everything's looking good. Symmetry's working out. Happy little suckers. I need to start leaning into my, people say I'm the Bob Ross of Nomad Sculpt, which I love. I'll take it. It's 12:33, so it's not too bad. This is already lit, so that's cool. Saves us a little time from lighting. Why do I feel like it's not? These aren't really going in. Maybe I'm doing... Some people have a lot of problems with their Apple Pencil. I'm not one of them. I don't change my nibs too much. Did I get all of them? Oh, almost. What is that? Why does that look so bad? What in the world is that? I hope that's not one that's like in the middle. Oh no, it should be on the floor, so that should be okay. Let's do a quick save. It's looking good. I can probably bring the floor back. And this should probably be a little bit more flat, I think. I would like to just, maybe I'll use drag. I kind of would like to spread this out a little bit here. Because any part that would be touching the ground would spread out. Kind of like when your foot touches the ground, it sort of like spreads out. Okay, nice. Quick save. All right, so let's figure out what kind of eyes we want. I think I just want like really pretty, really big almond shaped eyes. So, excuse me. So if I use layer, I don't know where I want them. I might do this a few times. So just kind of bear with me. I kind of want them like that. Oh, I'm seeing some I didn't get in there. But this actually looks pretty good. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe we'll do some clay over the top. Okay, so maybe we'll just do some smoothing. We have a nice spot for some eyes. So let's go ahead, let me do a quick save. Let's go ahead and add a sphere. So we'll mirror it, open them up. kind of bring them in like that. I'm going to flatten it up a little bit. Make them nice and flat. What I really like is for the eyes to take the shape of these are probably touching, aren't they? I hate when they touch. So ultimately, I'm going to go ahead and validate. Ultimately, I want the eye to kind of be a little bit more like this. Okay, I kind of like these. I don't know if I might want them a little cuter. I don't know. But I can always undo and try. But I think for now, this is pretty good. I do want to add little pieces here. So in order to do that, I'm going to, let's just label this eyes real quick. Let's add a cylinder. Let's use our gizmo snap. We'll snap it forward like that. And we can make this a whole lot smaller. Shrink it up. Whoop. Go ahead and mirror it. Even smaller. So maybe something like this. And what I want to do with this is validate. And I want to use drag and symmetry. So symmetry right now is, let's click to symmetry and turn on show line. So this is not good. We don't want that symmetry. All we want is the Y. Turn X off. So now we can drag like this. We can make our little shape. Wait, is this the right shape or is it, I'm trying to think. Or is it this way? I think that's the right shape. So we'll do something like that. We'll turn off the Y. Back to move, and I just like to give it, make it a little bit bigger. I just like to give it a bend. And then we'll go back to our gizmo. And just, let's turn snap off and just kind of adjust it until it's right over the eye. This, maybe even make them a little smaller. I'm just gonna go like this to kind of straighten them out a little bit. I probably didn't need to stretch them that much, so I'm gonna try to stretch them back. Because when you make them smaller, then it kind of negates. I'll just use drag and kind of drag and push until I'm happy with it. I think I'm happy with that. Okay, so for these eyes, I'm just going to join them. And I'm going to add 2 more spheres, and these will be like the pupils. So let's move them up. Okay, so they are pretty round. I want to push a little bit. Let me just solo it. I want to give it a little bit of a bend, just like I did before. Just so it fits a little bit better, so it's more like a contact lens. I'll move it in. Okay, that actually looks pretty good. I still wish it was a little bit more flat. Another trick I could do is take flatten and try to just flatten the eyes. Wait, is this happening to either side? It isn't. Of course it isn't. I wonder if I can take my gizmo and bake this. Pivot, reset, pivot. There we go. So the symmetry is still a bit weird. Symmetry is still on one eye. Pivot. Reset. Pivot. So why is it still on this eye? I just want it to be in the middle. If I save, I wonder if it's going to stay if I close the app and go back into it. I just wonder if it's going to stay there. So there's the eyes. If I solo, symmetry is still there. World. How is that the world symmetry? That makes negative sense to me. Alright, what happens if I voxel remesh this? Where are we now? Still. Move origin. Pivot, reset, pivot. No, still. Just doesn't want to agree with me. Oh well. Let's try a line. Nope, a line's not doing anything. I'm just going to do pivot, and I want this to be see if I can stretch this out. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not happy with this, so I'm just going to paint the eyes on this. Let's change this to lit PBR. Looks nice. The eyes, maybe we'll make them glossy. And even though I might have a problem with the eyes, you know what? I have a way to solve it. Since I can't get the symmetry to be correct with the eyes, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take trim, rectangle, and make sure that I'm on the eyes. I'm going to trim one. Now that I've trimmed one, I'm going to take this and make a mirror. So now, if I take the mirror and validate and join children, it's still over there. I gotta figure this out. This is killing me. You're killing me. Do I like need to like, no, I can't uninstance, I can't separate. Okay, I have a new plan. What if I trim this side? Then I take this eye. What if I clone it and then I flipped object? Okay, that didn't work. Let's delete it. What if I add this to a mirror? Okay, so if I wanted to paint, let's just see. I'll use paint circle. I turn symmetry on. Oh, it's working. Okay, it's working. So this is what I was trying to do. Okay, but the eyes are only 5,000 something, so it's kind of not great. Let's try this. Before I do that, let's try if I make these eyes and then I change these to the color I want. I wonder if I can make these small. Whoa. That doesn't quite work. But let's try another sphere. Paint all. I'm really determined to get this working with the sphere. Yeah. It was kind of cute. The only problem is it sticks out so much. Let me pivot this so I can just, maybe I can just like squeeze it. It might, oh, it didn't work. I thought it might have worked. What is up with these spheres? There we go. I think that's good. And you know what? Instead of just like, why don't I just move it manually? I'm just going to move this pupil manually. Whoop, front. I think it looks good. Yeah, I think that looks cool. I like it. Let's add, well, first, maybe we want to flatten this. Oop. Turn off stroke painting. Looks kind of nice. We'll add a quick tube, path. We can take snap, and we'll start it here. Boom, 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 boom. I've been seeing a lot of things where these go really far down and then come out, so I've been kind of experimenting with that. Boom. Radius. Make this one smaller, this one bigger. Take it off snap so that I can fold this out. Well, maybe I don't even want these. Maybe I don't want them for this one. Maybe I'll use my radius again and not do that. Maybe I'll just do just something a little less intrusive. Okay, I really have to move this up a little bit. Did I spline this? I didn't. I was wondering why I was being all weird. You definitely want to do spline. I wish I could turn that off. That is so annoying. So now you just want to go in and make sure. I want to hide this piece. Just like that, like it's going right into the corner of the eye. This still feels like it's a little bit too... I want to make sure I see all that eye. And this part, I want to go right in there. Mirror. And we can validate that. Let's go ahead and label this. Validate, join children, lashes. I'll do a quick save. Mirror. Oh, these are little eye dots. There's the eyes. Okay. These, I think, need to be smoothed out. Of course, symmetry is not on. Well, symmetry is on, but they still don't want to cooperate. I'm a bit perplexed. Are they not? Symmetry is on. Eye dots, bake? No. Pivot, reset, pivot. So really? They're not connected anymore? That's very odd. I definitely don't understand why they wouldn't be connected. Let's do our trim thing again. Mirror. Validate, join children. Okay. Symmetry is on. Still nothing. I don't know. Maybe I guess today's one of those days where things just aren't not working out the way that I think that they should. There are days like that. Nice, nice. I do want to kind of hollow this out a little bit. So we'll do layer and sub. Or we could do, we'll do layer and sub. And we'll just do some smoothing. Maybe we'll flatten around here. Just for fun. I like it. I think it looks great. Okay, so what color do we want this? We already had a color before. That's kind of cool. This should be black and rough. So maybe we want like a lighter color underneath. Let's add a new layer. Lighter. I don't particularly know. Let's see what happens. I remember I used to draw and I hated coloring things. I really like it now. I like coloring things now. But I like hated painting, physically painting. Did not like it. But this painting is fun though. Oh, a little outside the lines. I wonder if I can smooth with smooth color, which is just the smooth tool with 0 intensity. I wonder what happens if I smooth out the edges. If it smooths it all. Well, maybe a little bit. Symmetry's on. Oh, I did want to put some, let's do texture. I don't think texture is going to work at the moment. So I'm going to take brush, this little guy, Try this one. This one's like tried and true. Excuse me, this works for like most textures. Oh, this might be nice too, though. A lot of these might be nice. We'll try the one we're on. Alpha screen project I usually use. I usually make this bigger and bring this down and see what happens. Oh, I think that's a the problem is I have to go really close, right? Let's subdivide it. Oh, that looks good, but it's so small. That's one thing that I get confused with. Scaling. Tiling. Let's just make this bigger. I could try to stretch it. I don't know. Right, the texture's good, but now it's like just being a butt monkey. That actually looks okay. It's a lot of work to apply, but I guess I'll survive. How does this even look? I guess it's more accurate. Ooh. Yeah, I have to figure out how to make the pattern small, but a big coverage size. Don't know how to do that. Okay. Let me get rid of some of this ambient occlusion. So there's a lot. Maybe we'll change this to subsurface. I think that's going to help a lot. Very translucent. So I'll turn this up. Let's take edge. That can definitely be turned up a lot. There we go. Raise that up a little bit. I think this is a little bit too much, the eyelashes. So I'm just going to try to smooth some of this away. Maybe I'll just clay it away. Oh, it's not doing it on the other side, is it? Oh, the worst. The absolute worst. So what is the best? Maybe even move. Maybe I could just move it in some more. I just wanted a little bit less, a little bit smaller. And maybe even, no, actually I think that's pretty good. Let's change the background color. Sometimes I like colors that are sort of close to it. All right, let's do a nice front view in the middle. And edge, where is edge? I know it's bedtime. And it will not let me change that cone angle. Oh, I didn't add the view, like a dum-dum. It's kind of nice. Maybe this should be like, me get some of this light off of it, though. Top down, maybe a little bit more. Make it a little brighter. And the key. Key's pretty good. Maybe a little bit brighter. Can't get it off this. Maybe I can move this up. Alright, I think this is going to be my view. Add view. I think it's cool. Save to a quick little turntable. Very bright on the backside, but that's okay. Alright, keep drawing, keep sculpting. I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching the video. Be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps me out, really helps my channel out. Definitely check out my Skillshare classes. I have 2D classes in Procreate and 3D classes in Nomad Sculpt. Keep drawing, keep sculpting, and I'll see you all in the next video.
All right.